sacrificing the kidneys over all these years?
Howdy guys, it's Shayla and welcome back to me screaming into the void about topics that interest me. And today we're going to be suffering through a slideshow, if you will, of the world's most unsuccessful polygamist, Kody Brown. Now, if you don't know who Kody Brown, the polygamist clown is, he is one of the starring members of the TLC show Sister Wives. Sister Wives has been on since September 26, 2010 and follows the lives of Kody, Christine, Janelle, Meri, and Robin Brown, who are all married to Kody. I remember watching the show with my mom growing up, and honestly, I really didn't think anything of it, besides, it's not the kind of life I would want to live. I will say, though, I always kind of thought Kody was a little weird, and I do not understand how he pulled 4 different women, but it looks like the Riz has worn off, because now he has 1 wife. All the other 3 wives divorced him recently. So Kody's kingdom came toppling down when his wife Christine Brown decided to officially leave and divorce him. Diving into the Sister Wives cinematic universe, it seems like the first big breaking point for Christine was all the wives and Kody not wanting to move back to Utah when she did. I think the big thing for Christine was that polygamy was decriminalized in Utah in 2020. It used to be that it was a huge felony, and now I think it's down to maybe a misdemeanor. So in her eyes and in the whole family's eyes, this is a victory, and she wants to move back home to where her parents are, to where a lot of her children have relocated, so it makes perfect sense that she wants to go home. But the discussions about Utah are pretty tame in comparison to when COVID finally hits in the Sister Wives timeline. That's when Kody and the whole family just completely fall apart. During the pandemic, Isabel, Christine's second youngest daughter, wanted to get surgery to correct her scoliosis. They explain in the show that Isabel's curve for her spine is over 50 degrees now, and she's pretty much living in pain every single day at like a 9 out of 10. So we have a scene in season 16 where Isabel, Christine, and Kody are talking about getting Isabel the surgery that she needs. The doctors say it's safe, even though COVID is a thing that exists now, and Kody is very adamant that he would want to wait. This causes Isabel and Christine to be upset because they're both like, you just expect Isabel to keep living in pain. In the end of this conversation, Kody refuses to go to Isabel's surgery, makes his own daughter cry, sits there like a useless sack of potatoes with 0 emotions about his daughter leaving the conversation to go cry. And a quick thing is, before this conversation, Kody makes it clear that he has been asking Christine, Janelle, and all the other wives to not travel at all during COVID. And I want to make it clear right now, all of the traveling that Christine and Janelle do is to visit their other adult children in their adult children's houses. So when you really think about it, Christine is doing exactly what Kody is doing. She is going from house to house to see her other children. He also gets into it with Christine about how he feels that Christine is choosing her adult children over having a relationship with Kody, which, what would a mom do in that situation? What would most people do in that situation? Prioritize a man they might see 2 or 3 times out of the week at max versus their adult children that might need them for support, for stability, especially during a worldwide pandemic. Would I pick the man who mostly I don't see and barely takes care of me and just bitches whenever he's over? Or would I pick my children that love me and respect me and have a good relationship with me? I think I'd pick the kids. And part of his whole reason for not wanting to go to Isabel's surgery is that he's like, we have to do what's best for the whole family, not just what's best for Isabel. Meanwhile, he mostly means Robin. And keep in mind, Robin has a nanny at home that also helps her take care of her 2 youngest children. So it's not like if Kody were gone for a couple weeks that she would be completely on her own taking care of her 5 kids. After this, we get the iconic episode called No Head Wife, where we start out with Christine and Kody talking about what it would take to have Isabel see her younger siblings at Robin's house. And Christine drops this bomb of a quote.
What does the nanny do?
Then Kody goes on to say Christine is full of shit, but what does the nanny do, Kody? What does the nanny do? What does she do differently that your other 3 wives don't do? And of course, Robin gets defensive during this whole thing, like, Cody's not the type to follow a wife. Like, he's a strong, independent man. Like, I didn't make these rules. Why would I have made the rules? Because you're benefiting from them. You are the only wife that's benefiting from this entire charade. Kody stays at home. He stays with you and your children. You're not forced to pick between your kids and Kody like Janelle and Christine are, because all of your kids live at home, and all of your kids seemingly don't have to leave the house. Then Christine brings up that she should rightfully be able to question Kody's decisions, because if you're not allowed to question someone's decisions in a marriage, that feels more like a dictatorship and not a relationship. This whole conversation essentially ends with them deciding to not have Thanksgiving together, but saying that they'll follow all the rules Kody listed out, and they will have a joint Christmas. But then they have their joint Christmas, and they also have a birthday party for Robin's youngest daughter. And then they are exposed to COVID by the nanny. Like, you can't make this shit up. And even Janelle and Christine acknowledge that it's a little ironic and a little funny that out of Kody complaining about what all the wives are doing, they all were exposed to COVID for the first time because of Robin's perfect nanny that she had. Sometime after this whole nanny fiasco is when Kody and Christine sit down and have a talk, and we get Christine recapping for us what happened, where essentially Kody says that he is not interested in having an intimate marriage with her anymore. And during this recap and during a later conversation Christine and Kody will have about salvaging their marriage or not, Kody keeps saying things like, well, there's people that have intimately marriages all the time. Like, Meri and I's marriage is intimacy-less, and it's amazing, and I know so many people that have that. What woman on this planet wants to hear their husband say, yeah, baby, you know, for this Valentine's Day, I don't want to have sex with you. Hey, for this anniversary, I don't want to give you that good. No fun? No romance? No connection? No sparks? Like, they're only in their 50s. It's not like they're knocking on death's door, like tomorrow they're just gonna be dust. I can't blame Christine or any other woman or any person for that matter not wanting to stay in a loveless, sexless, intimacy-less marriage. And Kody is delusional to think that any woman wants that. He also tells her, like, well, maybe if you're a good sister wife, I'll give you some of that good D I got packing. If I'm a good sister wife, like, that almost has the feeling of, here are some crumbs, you peasant, some crumbs of affection if you're a good sister wife. God, he's just a disgusting little man. And then Kody has the nerve, the audacity that only a man could have to get angry when Christine moves his stuff out of her house and when she tells him that she no longer wants him to sleep in her bedroom. She has this beautiful bit where she's like, I'm reclaiming my bedroom. I didn't know how good that would feel. And Cody's just sitting there like a dunce thinking, oh, wait, why would she move me out? I wasn't expecting this. I really didn't think she was serious. That's another thing he says. He's always like, well, I didn't think they were serious. Like, it's all just a game. You know, I've had wives threaten to leave me all the time, as if it's a good thing that that's happened. How could any woman not want me, Kody, the supreme king of marriages? After Christine moves all of Kody's stuff out, they finally have a conversation where Christine is like, Kody, I don't want this marriage anymore. Stop holding on to me. Let me go. I want to move back to Utah. And instead of trying to be loving or affectionate and be like, baby, I love you. Let's work this out. I will be more intimate with you. We can work on our intimacy. We can have a better marriage. Like, I'll take you out on dates. I'll buy you flowers. Instead of doing any of that, he tries to gaslight her, saying that he didn't say certain things. Like, he didn't say he wanted an intimateless marriage. He says that he shrugged his shoulders and said, we'll see. And Christine rightfully says, I don't want to be with a man who's just going to shrug his shoulders and say, maybe we'll have sex. Let me, pencil it in for, 6 months from now and see how I'm feeling then. I really can't comprehend how 4 different women married this man. The bar's really in hell. We have to raise the bar. We have to drag it up from, the circles of Hades, because this is such insanity. Kody says something about how maybe if Christine was cooking and cleaning, he would come around more. And I'm like, cooking and cleaning? Oh my God. He's saying maybe if you were a more subservient, better wife that cooked and cleaned and did laundry and didn't complain about me not having sex with you, I would want to be a better husband. And then he also, like a fuckboy, says that he didn't know any better when he married Christine. He was 25 years old when he married Christine. I'm 25 right now. I know that I should not just jump into a marriage. And it's so sad for Christine because she thinks, obviously, that this is pathetic that Kody felt pressured into marrying her. But I can't believe he's claiming that at 25, after 2 other marriages, he didn't know better, he's a little baby.
You and I have intimacy and love in the relationship. I'm sorry it's conditional based upon being part of a plural family.
He's basically saying to her, Christine, my love for you is completely conditional on the condition that you treat your sister wives better. And by sister wives, I mean Robin, because I don't give a shit about Janelle or Meri. And he admits that he wasn't attracted to her when they got married. You had 6 children with her. I would key his car. I would want to burn down the house. Christine needs to have a Taylor Swift Reputation era, Kelly Clarkson before he cheats moment. I just need that for her. I need her to ruin his life because I want to ruin his life.
Don't trust you.
Please don't point your finger at me or the
Well,
conversation.
that's true.
Don't point your finger at me.
Fine, stop pointing the blame at me.
Kody, the blame is on you. You only have sex maybe a couple times a year. You don't make any effort to see her or be with her. You don't make any effort to be there for her children, even when one of them needs a very complicated and painful surgery. You are to blame for this marriage falling apart. You don't love her. You clearly don't respect her. You aren't attracted to her. You don't want to have a tender, loving, healthy, intimacy-full marriage. Why would anyone want to stay with you? And Christine brings up that during COVID, one of the big things she learned is that she can do it on her own, that she can be independent. And I feel like this is ultimately why Janelle, Christine, and Meri left, is because they realized during the pandemic that they really don't need Kody anymore. Most of their kids are grown, besides truly with Christine. She's the only one that's still a minor. Everyone else is an adult or off at college or living their own lives. So they really don't need each other, nor do they need Kody anymore.
This is what I'm afraid of. You take Truly and you go to Utah, the most polygamy unfriendly state in the union. You get a boyfriend who wants some of our money. And between you, your boyfriend, and the state of Utah, I lose any access to Truly and all my money because I've seen it happen to many, many people.
All Kody cares about is the scenario where Christine goes off to Utah, takes Truly with her, finds a loving boyfriend, but he's actually greedy and terrible, and he's gonna take all their money. That's all he cares about, is being robbed. He doesn't care that his wife is leaving him. He's not sad that one of the mothers of 6 of his children doesn't love nor wants to be with him anymore. No, he just cares about his cold, hard cash-a-rownie.
You're excited about getting out.
I'm heartbroken about getting out, but I can't live in that heartbroken spot.
I just saw a glint in your eye. You're excited about getting out.
He's like, you have a twinkle. You have a twinkle in your eye. Why do you have a twinkle in your eye? You're excited about getting out. You religionless whore. Like, who would not be excited about getting out of this marriage? I would be skipping around, packing my bags, drinking wine, dancing to music throughout my house. Finally, Christine gathers up her sister wives to have a conversation about the fact that she is officially leaving Kody. Robin tries to make it about herself and is fucking crying in the corner. And then Kody loses his marbles once he sees how upset Robin is and has his whole knife in the kidneys monologue.
Man, just the knife in the kidneys over all these years. And the sacrifices that I made to love you. Wasted.
He's also generally pissed because he feels like Christine didn't ask him if they could get a divorce. That's how breakups work. Like, if one person wants a divorce, you can't just make them stay with you. All these shenanigans continue for the next couple episodes until there's one episode called The Failed Priest, where Kody is having an existential crisis because he's officiating his friend's wedding. Now, COVID is still happening. He is officiating his friend's wedding, completely maskless, dancing around, officiating the wedding. He had a whole conniption fit because his wives were roaming and traveling to their adult children's houses, but he goes to a completely unmasked wedding while COVID is still a very real thing. It was never about the rules. He just used the rules as an excuse to stay with his favorite wife. Now that we're done with Christine, I want to move on to the second wife that left Kody, who's also a baddie, Janelle Brown. When COVID started, much like Christine, Janelle was forced to pick between having her adult children in her house or seeing Kody. Now, with Janelle, her kids were living at home, but Garrison had a job, and Gabriel was in college and also had a girlfriend at this point. And Janelle even says that Gabe should choose his girlfriend over Kody because ultimately Gabe is going to see his girlfriend more than he would end up seeing Kody anyways. And with Christine leaving, it feels like Kody really shifts his shitstorm onto Janelle after that, because she buys an RV to go live on their property in Arizona called Coyote Pass, because she believes if she's out there in this RV looking upon the land she's going to build her house on, that she'll be more motivated to start this project. And what does Kody do? He bitches and moans and complains his entire way through Janelle buying this RV, complains how small it is, even though he doesn't even spend the night with her, because right now he just spends the night at Robin's house with her kids. He doesn't stay with Christine, he doesn't stay with Meri because he doesn't love her, and he doesn't stay with Janelle. He's once again feeling like, how dare his wife not ask him first to buy this RV, even though Janelle says that she's been saying she's going to buy this RV, and that she's wanted an RV, and that she's going to get an RV, but Kody is zoned out all the time, and that's why he doesn't remember any of these conversations with her about the RV plans. Once again, during the whole knife in the kidneys bit that we had, Kody mentions how he wants to get back to patriarchy. And Janelle mentions how she never signed up for that, to which Kody responds that she's essentially full of shit because she promised to run her wheel into his, which if we're gonna use this whole driving analogy, then we've driven off the road, Kody. We've gone off a cliff. We are sitting in the ocean right now. The car is sinking. You are a bad driver. Later on, they all decide to have a post-Christine family meeting where in one of Janelle's talking head bits, she's like, why are you guys surprised that Christine left? Because Kody's been telling me all these stories. Robin's been telling him about how Christine is such a bad sister wife, trying to get me to not like Christine. So why are you guys shocked that she's just up and left if she's such a terrible wife? And then, of course, Kody has a little talking head bit where he goes full-on Rick Grimes Ricktatorship and says, if you're not with me, you're against me. F off. What a perfectly loving and accepting husband, right? And then, of course, he shits on Meri, his own personal punching bag, saying that Meri's trying to support him in this conversation, but ironically, he doesn't want Meri's support because he doesn't want to be married to her. Janelle states that Kody is driving a giant wedge between her and him and their children because he won't come and see his kids. He won't let them come over for Christmas unless they apologize and start being respectful. And by apologize, he means not just to him, but to Robin, because a lot of Kody's kids were assuming that Robin was making all these rules about COVID. Why would they think that? Maybe it's because Kody is spending the most time with Robin and her children. He also won't let them over for Christmas unless they follow Kody's insane 10 commandments of COVID rules. And then when him and Janelle are arguing, he says he's not going to have them over like alcoholic family. He compares his two sons to like alcoholic Uncle Jack coming over and puking on the family dog during Christmas. He really thinks so lowly of his adult sons. Then Kody has the nerve to get mad when Janelle's kids and Christine's kids decide to all go in together kind of on an Airbnb because Christine's kids are visiting from Utah and they're thinking about all having Christmas there. And Janelle points out how, well, Kody, you said they couldn't come over for Christmas unless they do X, Y, Z. So instead we were thinking that maybe we could have Christmas in a neutral zone so you could not only spend Christmas with them, but you could also see Christine's kids. He essentially wants to have Christmas in Kody land so he can have rain over the holiday, but obviously 2 out of his 4 wives are not having that shit, so he's outnumbered. Janelle also has a bit where she says that Kody's essentially putting Robin on this pedestal because he's more upset that his other children from other wives don't see Robin as this amazing, wonderful, beautiful human being that has done so much for them in this family. When really all Robin does is for herself and her own kids. Like, I'm not saying she's never had a good impact on any of the other children, but for the most part, she's been very much about herself and her kids. Where with Christine and Janelle, Christine helped raise all of Janelle's children before the show when Janelle would go to work because she was one of the primary breadwinners of the family. So her and Christine are super close because they were essentially joint raising all 12 of their children together. Janelle then brings up that all these COVID rules didn't come until the list came out, the list where he sat everyone down and gave out the rules, and Robin was crying and looking all sad like she usually looks. Kody starts bitching and whining like the kidneys bit and goes, oh man, because he cannot believe all that he's done to save Truly and Janelle and this family. Like, he's going on his rampage again in that same like whiny toddler tone he had last time. And then he says Christine left because of all this. Now, I'm assuming he's meaning Christine left because of all the COVID rules and disagreements over COVID, when no, she left because you guys weren't having sex, you didn't love her, you said you were unattracted to her, and you were doing nothing to help her or her children. That's why she left you, Kody, because you are a useless husband and father. Throughout these episodes, we also get a bit where Gabe starts crying in one of his interview segments because he called Kody, and Kody did not remember that it was his birthday. And you can see just how torn up Gabe is about that, because it probably feels like his dad doesn't love him. And then we get to the tell-all, where Kody says the most disrespectful thing about Janelle's kids.
Why couldn't they have gone out and found homes so they could keep dating during COVID? That's what I don't understand. Because if one of my little children were to die because somebody had to get his pencil wet, that made me so mad.
Pencils wet. Can you imagine your dad going on TV and being like, my kids were too horny during the pandemic. Those fucking idiots. They just had to go out and get those pencils wet. First off, it sounds disgusting. Secondly, I just can't get over pencils. And thirdly, Kody's one to talk since he has 4 wives to get his seemingly shaven down pencil wet with. And now I want to briefly touch on Meri. There's not too much that goes on with Meri on this season of the TV show, really, because it's mostly focused on Christine leaving and then conflicts with Janelle. And the most we get of her in this season is Robin begging her to not leave their sister wives arrangement, and Kody basically just saying how much he does not want to be with her anymore. During one of the seasons of Sister Wives, Kody gets a legal divorce from Meri in, I believe, like 2014, because he wants to legally marry Robin and adopt her children. So because Meri only has 1 kid, and that 1 kid was grown up by this point, she's alone and feels very sad. So she ended up making a connection with someone online who she thought was a man, and ended up getting catfished by a woman, which is this huge scandal that came out in, I believe, season 10 of Sister Wives. Now, this might be the nail in the coffin for why Meri and Kody really haven't been able to reconcile. Maybe he feels that she broke their trust and their bond by doing this. But throughout this whole season, Kody keeps saying things like he's not really interested in having a real marriage with Meri. So it's no surprise to me that she eventually released a statement on Instagram saying that she and Kody were no longer together. Kody says in this season during one of his talking head bits that him giving his wives freedom and independence kind of backfired on him, because in doing that, he lost the patriarchy in his family. He believes he made them too independent, and that's why his entire family and marriages are falling apart. Honestly, COVID was a blessing in disguise for these women, because they realized that they really didn't need to have Kody to do what they wanted to do with their lives, or to be functional human beings. From that, what have we learned? You don't need a man. Men ain't shit. That's really what I've learned here. And also, we kind of learned that despite Sister Wives being originally made to show that polygamy can be a good thing and that polygamist families should be shown in a good light, it kind of showcases why polygamy doesn't really work. You have all of these women that have all these needs that one man can't give to them. You have kids that aren't getting the attention and love that they need, and ultimately there end up being kids that are favorites and wives that are favorites, and emotions like jealousy or anger or bitterness are shunned if they're expressed by these wives. They're expected to push all these negative emotions down and to just be these happy, smiling little trophies for the husband to essentially collect. Kody is a controlling, irresponsible man-child who can't accept any accountability for any part he played in his marriages falling apart. He demands that everyone else have accountability, and he would rather be respected than loved. To me, that sounds more like a dictator than a loving husband. And now I consider him the world's worst polygamist, because he technically isn't one anymore. He only has 1 wife left, and honestly, that's probably not even what Robin wanted. She was crying the whole season about how she didn't want it to be this way. And now she's the only one left to deal with all of Kody's nonsense. I will say, though, it was really hard to be sympathetic to Robin this whole season, because she's kind of making everyone else's issues about her, whether it's Christine wanting to leave, or Meri being dissatisfied, or Janelle being unhappy and having to choose between her kids. It seems like Robin is just worried about how this is going to affect her relationship with Kody, and not really empathizing with what these other women are going through. I'm glad that Christine, Janelle, and Meri can now move on with their lives and hopefully find happiness and love. I know right now, As of filming this, Christine has a new boyfriend and she seems very happy. And I believe there's a spin-off confirmed of Sister Wives that's just Christine and Janelle because they're so close. So I'm not sure if Sister Wives will be continuing or if it's just going to be the spin-off with Janelle and Christine. But anyways, that is all for this rampage today. I hope you like this video about the rise, the fall, mostly the fall. I don't know if there was ever really a rise of Kody Brown and his marriage is falling apart. To end this video, I wanted to give my professional monologue auditioning for the part of Kody Brown. That's the reason I'm pissed off, is because you never tried to have a good relationship with these other people. And that's the reason I'm pissed off. It's just vomiting out of me because I've sat here with it. Just like Christine, just try to do this. You wanted to renegotiate a relationship with me, but you never even had a decent one with them. Always about the kids. That was the easy part. Man, just a knife in the kidneys after all these years. And the sacrifices I made to love you. Wasted! Thank you. I have a degree in theater. Gotta utilize it somehow.